Hi everyone, my name is Dre. I am a consultant with Dragon Consulting and I want to welcome you to today's video. So if you're just joining the channel for the first time, welcome. And if you are a returning visitor, then welcome back. So on today's video, I would like to talk about pilot projects and really sort of what it is and whether or not you should try one. So as we sort of move forward in the healthcare industry, now that we're into the 20s, we will see more and more IT applications come at us from every particular angle. They are in every aspect and they show no signs of slowing down, nor do ideas. So as the applications keep coming and as technology keeps improving, so do the ideas for newer and better technology, ideas to change the stuff that we already have in place, to maybe add more functionality or to use it in a different way, ideas to change our workflow. They are just continuing to flow. So all of these ideas, sound great and wonderful, but maybe we aren't quite ready to try them out on a giant scale. So perhaps we want to look at a pilot project. So in the healthcare industry itself, in most organizations, there isn't quite the same risk tolerance level that there is in the general technology industry. So the old adage, fail fast, fail often, isn't something that we really embrace wholeheartedly, and that's for obvious reasons. We're dealing with people's health and well-being, so we don't want to fail often and we don't want to fail fast. We want to make sure that everything that we're doing is actually going to improve things and make a difference. So before we try anything, we need to be reasonably sure that it's going to work. We need to do our due diligence and our homework. And for some ideas, that may mean that a pilot project is being considered. So what is a pilot project? And how does it differ really from any other project that we're doing? So a pilot project in its, most general form is short-term and a smaller scale version of something that we want to take on. So it's usually undertaken to determine feasibility, to understand if the solution that we are thinking of is actually going to address the issue or the problem that we have at hand. Pilot projects are activities that will help us gather more information on cost and the time requirements for something. So it gives us an opportunity to try things out on a smaller scale to see how that can be extrapolated into an enterprise-wide initiative. They also assist us with identifying and understanding some of the impact points. So you can see a lot of things on paper and you can think through sort of as many different permutations of something as possible. But in the end, it sometimes takes trying it to see what you don't know. So the old saying, you don't know what you don't know, is absolutely true here. And pilot projects can sort of help you uncover some of those things. So they also highlight areas that may need adjusting or improvement before you roll out large scale. So as you lay out a project and identify the components, doing it on a smaller scale may highlight things that would need to be adjusted. So things that are too time consuming or perhaps didn't result in the outcome you were looking for, adjustments to your training plans, maybe some adoption tweaks here and there. So pilot projects allow us to do those things by highlighting those areas. So can you pilot anything? This is debatable. So some people would say, yes, you can pilot anything, and some would say, no, it's not really appropriate to pilot things that are of certain sort of components magnitude. You should just go ahead and do them. But the big thing with a pilot is in order to set up a pilot, you need to have a defined problem. So you need to understand what the problem is in order to have a pilot, and you need to have identified a potentially viable solution. So the concept of a pilot is not just an exercise in random making changes and seeing if they'll work and calling it a pilot for the sake of, articulating a name. It's not really what a pilot's for. Benefits of doing a pilot project, again, so some of the things we identified on what a pilot project is, but they really identify those impacts or opportunities that you need to address before you roll something out on a larger scale. So it gives you an insight and a lens into where to focus your attention. They also will let you understand training and adoption needs of a project a little bit better. So you can attempt training components. You can, have your organizational change management framework in place and see if that's actually going to work and identify the areas that you need to make adjustments. And that's very helpful when doing a pilot, especially if it's something you want to roll out enterprise-wide. A pilot is also going to give you an opportunity to determine if the solution achieves the outcome. So again, you need to have a defined issue or problem and a potentially viable solution before you enter into a project. And when you actually complete one, this is going to let you know whether whether that solution is indeed viable and whether it is actually going after the issue or problem that you have. And this is done through measurement of KPIs or key performance indicators. So those would be set out at the beginning of the pilot, and you can measure them throughout and again and at the conclusion. So the pilot also provides you with an opportunity to make adjustments if the results aren't optimized. So if you do have a technical solution or a workflow solution that you've tried and you do achieve the outcomes that you were looking for, but maybe not quite to the level of KPI that you had in mind, you can make little adjustments or tweaks and slight changes before you roll that out further. So that is much, much easier to do with a pilot than it is with a full-scale rollout from the get-go. And it also allows you to assess a solution with decreased risk. So if you have a smaller group of people that are participating in a pilot or a smaller level of functionality, then the impact and risk that's associated is smaller than they would be if you had gone whole scale enterprise wide. So a pilot project essentially is a chance to get it right before you try it for the first time across the board. So that's all I have for today. It's a short video this week, and I will be back next time with how to set up your pilot project and what some of the requirements are.